Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the whirlwind of modern life, where everything seems to demand your immediate attention? The constant barrage of notifications, the pressure to perform at work, the endless scroll of social media, it can all feel like an unending avalanche that buries us under its weight. In these moments, it's easy to feel as if we're losing control over our lives, and the anxiety that creeps in can be paralyzing. But what if I told you there is a philosophy, ancient yet strikingly relevant, that can teach us how to navigate these turbulent waters with a sense of calm and resilience? This philosophy, known as Stoicism, offers timeless wisdom that can transform how you perceive and respond to life's challenges. Imagine, if you will, a Roman emperor seated alone in his study, surrounded by the opulence of a palace. This is not just any ruler, but Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, writing in his journal during a time of war and plague. Marcus's meditations, never intended for public consumption, reveals a powerful insight into his thoughts. Despite his immense power, he grappled with the same internal struggles as we do today. One passage in particular stands out. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius, amidst commanding armies and managing a vast empire, understood that true power comes from within. His reflections provide a glimpse into the heart of Stoicism, a philosophy that emphasizes the importance of personal resilience and the ability to maintain inner peace regardless of external circumstances. It's a vivid reminder that even in the eye of the storm, there is a place of calm if we choose to cultivate it within ourselves. So what exactly is Stoicism, and how can it serve as a guiding star in our chaotic lives? At its core, Stoicism is a philosophy of personal ethics informed by its system of logic and its views on the natural world. Founded in Athens by Zeno of Citium in the early 3rd century BC, it teaches the development of self-control and fortitude as a means to overcome destructive emotions. The Stoics believed that becoming virtuous meant aligning one's will to nature and accepting what we cannot change. It involves understanding the dichotomy of control, a powerful concept that divides our experience into those things we can influence and those we cannot. The Stoics urge us to focus our energy only on what is within our control, our thoughts, intentions, and reactions, while accepting external events with equanimity. Consider the analogy of a sailor at sea, navigating through a storm. The captain cannot control the weather or the waves that batter his ship, but he can control his response to them. By focusing on steering his ship and keeping a steady hand on the wheel, he can ride out the storm. Similarly, Stoicism teaches us to be like that sailor, focusing on our internal reactions and choices rather than the uncontrollable external circumstances. This perspective shift from what happens to us to how we deal with what happens is where Stoic wisdom shines. Historically, Stoicism was not just for the elite like Marcus Aurelius. Figures like Epictetus, who was born into slavery, and Seneca, a statesman, offered insights from different walks of life, showing that Stoicism is universal in its application. Their teachings reinforce that regardless of status or position, everyone can apply Stoic principles to cultivate a grounded and resilient approach to life. But how do we bring these ancient ideas into our morning routines or our responses to a stressful email at work? Imagine your typical morning. You wake up to the sound of your alarm, and before even setting foot on the ground, you're already scrolling through your phone, absorbing the news of the world, and simultaneously feeling behind on your tasks for the day. The first practical step in applying Stoicism is to carve out a moment of silence before the chaos begins. Marcus Aurelius used to start his day by reminding himself of the nature of the people he would encounter, a practice of mental preparedness. You can adapt this by dedicating a few quiet minutes each morning to reflect on what is truly important for the day ahead and to mentally prepare yourself for potential challenges. Next, consider the challenges that come your way as opportunities rather than obstacles. The Stoics believed in the power of reframing difficulties as chances to practice virtue. Picture yourself faced with a difficult colleague or an unexpected problem at work. Instead of seeing it as an annoyance, view it as an opportunity to exercise patience or creativity. This mindset shift is not about denying reality, but about approaching situations with a constructive attitude. Another practical step is the Stoic exercise of negative visualization. This involves imagining the loss of something or someone important to us, not to induce anxiety, but to foster appreciation and gratitude for what we presently have. Before you say goodnight, take a moment to visualize one aspect of your life you often take for granted. This practice can cultivate a deep sense of gratitude and reduce the tendency to become overly attached to the material or transient aspects of life. The third practical application is to detach from emotions that do not serve us. Stoics like Epictetus taught that events do not disturb us, rather our views about them do. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions, but rather allowing yourself to feel them without letting them dictate your actions. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. Your immediate reaction might be anger, but Stoicism encourages you to pause and reflect on whether this emotional response is helpful or necessary. By practicing this pause, you gain power over your reactions rather than being a slave to them. Finally, implement the practice of journaling. Much like Marcus Aurelius's meditations, use a journal to record your thoughts, challenges, and reflections. This daily ritual can offer you clarity and reinforce your commitment to Stoic principles. Writing about your day and your reactions allows you to see patterns, address recurring issues, and come to terms with situations beyond your control. As we conclude our exploration of Stoicism, remember that this ancient philosophy is not just about accepting what happens to us, but thriving amid life's uncertainties. By focusing on what we can control, reframing challenges, practicing gratitude, managing our emotions, and reflecting through journaling, we position ourselves to lead more fulfilling lives. The Stoics teach us that the path to personal freedom and fulfillment lies not in the chaotic world around us, but in our inner landscape. I encourage you to try incorporating these practices into your life. Start small, be consistent, and see how these timeless principles can transform your perspective. Embrace the calm within the storm and let Stoicism guide you toward a life of resilience and peace.